This article gives you a basic framework for recognizing the diverse cultures of Asia. In other words, it previews what you'll be studying over the semester in more depth and detail. And it comes from a really excellent online source, Smart History, that we'll use a lot in our Zero textbook course. When you are doing college level reading like this article, you should always look first at how the author has organized the article, looking at the headlines, as it were, because that organization is itself a teaching, and it's meant to get you thinking about the concepts that shape the information. So she gives you an introductory title, A Brief History of the Cultures of Asia. So already thinking plural about cultures, this is tying into the point I was making in the previous video that Asia is not one. And then moving along, you see that the next construction, the next organizing concept is geography. Going forward, it will be cultural traditions that play a huge role, and then chronology. You get the prehistoric and so on. Those three ways of cutting into the information are going to be critical for every art history lesson, module, chapter that you do. And to be a strong critical thinker and active reader, you want to be paying attention to why that's the structure and why that's the logic of the article. And so one is that geography points to the diversity of these cultures that we study, as well as their interrelationship. So it's really nice that this article gives you an orthographic projection, because you can see latitude and longitude. You can see what regions are close to the equator, such as the tip of India, and what regions are getting very north, even into the Arctic Circle. That's important because you're going to see that cultures, societies, and their economies are shaped in relationship to ecologies and climate. In fact, we'll see that climate change isn't just a story in India today, but was actually shaping cultural development and historical change 4,000 years ago. And that brings us to this issue of chronology. And I want you to really get to know the time periods that are used here as the broad ways of dividing the great span of time from earliest known art, prehistoric art, through ancient art, into the Middle Ages, and then the early modern period. There it is, early modern period, and then the modern and contemporary worlds. That's a set of concepts. It's not just a set of dates to memorize. In general, in art history, dates and time periods aren't about just memorization. They're actually about understanding historical change and building what I would call a historical consciousness, which is part of this class, where you understand that the people in Cambodia in the time of Angkor Wat are living under a system of kingship. And the ideology of the king is really important to this temple that is a celebration of the god, but also the king as god-like. That's not a concept that you're going to find so much in the modern period or the contemporary period. And so building a historical consciousness means understanding how life changed. And in those changes, people thought differently and made different art. So you're looking at how things changed and why they changed.